Hello and welcome. I'll let you all get situated. Please, of course, feel free to spread out. Welcome to tomorrow's Silver Lining, Cyber Resilience, Cyber Defense, and New Technologies Conference. This event is strategically positioned between the NATO EDGE Conference and the Presidency's Cyber Conference, creating a public bridge between the two. We're delighted to welcome you here today in person and online. My name is Kay Floyd, and I direct William & Mary's University-wide National Security Hub, the Whole of Government Center of Excellence. Founded in 1693 by King William and Queen Mary of England, our university was the first international one in the North American colonies. As we were then, we are still a global convener that brings together bright and enthusiastic minds, as we have here today, whether they are 18 years old or 88, and we try and dissect and tackle the good and problematic challenges that face us and others. Today, we showcase elements of cyber resilience and defense. Our university is joined by some fantastic partners for this event: the NATO Cooperative Cyber Defense Center of Excellence, King's College London, and the EU Cyber Diplomacy Initiative, EU Cyber Direct. I will ask a few people, apologies to those online, you probably won't be able to see them, but I'll ask a few people to stand so that you know to connect with them today. Brett Pernick from CCDCOE, please stand. Luca Cesnatoni from the Carnegie Europe and EU Cyber Direct, Joseph Devani from King's College London, and Tony Stefanidis, William & Mary's lead subject matter expert. You'll hear from each of them today, and I encourage you to interact with them and their organizations as you continue this important work. I'd also like to recognize the partner that is the entire reason that today is happening. This event was made possible by a generous and thoughtful grant from the US mission to NATO. We thank you for your leadership and strategic guidance, Mr. Holtzapfel. Indeed, today's addresses, breakout groups, and workshop are the accumulation of more than 2 years of thought leadership by CCDCOE, King's College London, EU Cyber Diplomacy Initiative, EU Cyber Direct, and William & Mary when we address cybersecurity challenges and opportunities. At each turn, all of us that you've heard are seeking to advance the dialogue and advance policies and technologies that make NATO and EU member nations more secure and resilient against cyber threats. Our first panel will address crossing the Rubicon when a cyber conflict becomes a cyber war. During that, we'll try and get after the foggy question of when does a cyber conflict become a cyber war? And if the panelists can answer that, then we just may be able to do a better job of anticipating and preparing for what is likely to come next. That panel will be live broadcast and on the record. We will then move into our breakout groups, which will not be shown on the live feed, but will be here in person. Breakout Group 1 addresses cyber resilience and cyber defense. Breakout Group 2 will address cybersecurity and new technologies alongside emerging disruptive technologies. Following the breakout groups, we will come back together in person and here on Zoom at 12:45 Brussels time to discuss the report outs and final points for consideration. For the afternoon portions, we will have a very special interactive exercise planned for our young leaders, those around age 35 and younger. If you're 36, we will let you participate. Please don't worry about that. As we have with our seasoned military officers, these individuals, many of whom are undergraduates here today, will be given a series of problems to dissect using design thinking and ideation, and you'll hear more about that at closing ceremonies. We look forward to producing both a report and recommendations following today, both from the Young Leaders Workshop and for the different panels that are happening here for the US mission to NATO and the public. If you'd like to join on social media today, please head to @William & Mary, at International WM Whiskey Mike, where we will showcase all our partners and speakers, and you can see their accounts too. It is now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Teresa Longo, Senior International Officer, William & Mary.
Thank you. It is a pleasure to be here. And good morning to everyone. Among the many important aspects of this conference is the very point of departure, resilience. As we are facing ever-present cyber attacks and associated vulnerabilities, it's really easy to focus only on the negativity, allowing fear to creep into our day-to-day, thinking about critical systems, how they might be compromised with significant impacts to our lives, to our property, and to national sovereignty. But today, today we made a choice to focus on our collective strengths and the silver linings that exist for our nations, to not just have hope, but also confidence in our abilities and confidence in the very hope. As affirmed by the North Atlantic Council in 2021, we seek, and I quote, free, open, peaceful, and secure cyberspace, and pursue efforts to enhance stability and reduce the risk of conflict by promoting respect for international law and the voluntary norms of responsible state behavior in cyberspace, as recognized by all members of the United Nations, end quote. To do that, our charge involves cultivating and building resilience so that we may prevent, absorb, or recover quickly from malicious activities. We uphold the cyber defense pledge, and our nations do what they can to be ahead of the digital curveball. It is now my honor to introduce our distinguished speaker, Mr. Rick Holtzapfel, a career member of the Foreign Service with the rank of Minister Counselor, and he is currently Chargé d'Affaires. Mr. Holtzapfel arrived in Brussels in September 2021 to serve as Deputy Permanent Representative and Deputy Chief of Mission of the U.S. Mission to NATO. Mr. Holtzapfel has previously served as Director of the State Department's Office for NATO and OCE Affairs in Washington from 2010 to 2014, culminating with the 2014 NATO Summit in Wales. He also served as Deputy Chief of Mission in the U.S. Embassy to Benin on 2 separate occasions, in the National Security Council's European Directorate at the White House from 1998 to 2000 and from 2010 to 2012. Before arriving in Brussels, Mr. Holtzapfel was on the faculty of the National Defense University in Washington, D.C. for 3 years and spent 1 year as senior advisor at the State Department's Foreign Service Institute. Other assignments with the State Department were as political minister counsel in Paris, as director of the State Department Office of EU Affairs, as chief of the political and economic section in Zagreb, at the U.S. mission to the EU, in the Bureau of Intelligence and Research, and at the U.S. embassies in Kinshasa and Djibouti. On detail from State Department, he served on assignments with a UN peacekeeping mission in Croatia, at the National Democratic Institute in Washington, and with the European Commission in Brussels. Mr. Holtzapfel holds a BA in International Relations from Stanford University and an MA in International Relations from the Johns Hopkins University School of Advanced International Studies. He speaks French and Croatian. Mr. Holtzapfel, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Longo. I realize I'm going to have to edit that bio because it makes me sound like I've been in the State Department for about 75 years. Good morning. It's great to see such a diverse group here to tackle the international security challenges of cyber resilience, cyber defense, and new technologies. Solutions to these challenges require the collective expertise of government, military, industry, academia, and civil society. And I'm especially glad to see that the participants here will spend most of the day collaborating and working together. I look forward to hearing what comes out of the discussion groups, and to those who will participate in the design thinking portion of the program, I hope that you will put your best ideas forward. At NATO, we are always looking for fresh approaches to our most pressing challenges, such as the one you'll work on today, cyber defense. NATO allies addressed this emerging challenge and many more when we met in June in Madrid to endorse a new strategic concept and chart NATO's path forward. The strategic concept reaffirms NATO's 3 core tasks: deterrence and defense, crisis prevention and management, and cooperative security. All 3 of these core tasks are essential to ensure what the strategic concept calls the key purpose of the alliance: collective defense. An important part of our key purpose is adapting to future threats. That is why the mission is so proud to be able to sponsor this conference with William and Mary and to address one of those key future threats or even present threats that we are dealing with. So in Madrid, we pledged to strengthen the alliance's capacity to address malicious cyber activities and hybrid operations, including misinformation and disinformation, whether the sources of those malign activities are state or non-state actors. As we face these ever-present and growing threats, we must ensure we are prepared to deter such activities, defend against them, and, when necessary, respond appropriately and with unity. To meet these challenges, we must modernize the alliance. We are expediting our digital transformation to adapt the NATO command structure for the information age and to enhance our cyber defenses, networks, and infrastructure. This is a key focus of our investment programs over the coming years. We are promoting innovation and increasing our investments in emerging and disruptive technologies to retain our interoperability and military edge. Technologies such as big data, artificial intelligence, autonomous systems, and quantum computing are changing the world and the way NATO operates. These and other emerging and disruptive technologies present both risks and opportunities for NATO and its allies. To ensure that NATO is best prepared to meet these challenges, the alliance is working with public and private sector partners, academia, and civil society to develop and adopt new technologies, establish international principles of responsible use, and maintain our technological edge. For example, the Defense Innovation Accelerator for the North Atlantic, which we call DIANA, is an initiative that will bring the most promising technologies and innovators together with alliance operators and end users to find solutions to our most critical security challenges. At NATO, we recognize that cyber threats to the alliance are complex, destructive, coercive, and becoming ever more frequent. We've seen a number of cases of this just in the past few months, from Albania to Estonia to Belgium and across the alliance. NATO continues to focus on how it can best protect and defend its own networks, as well as support allies in being able to support their national networks. As one step, we recently appointed a chief information officer to oversee these efforts in a reflection of probably an overdue measure that we had let NATO's cybersecurity and information technology enterprise be more exposed and less equipped than it should have been, but we are now responding to that challenge. Improving the cyber defenses of allies is equally important, and our leaders approved a new NATO cyber defense policy at the June summit, which lays out how allies can respond to the changing cyber landscape. Cyber attacks are one of many military and non-military tools used by our adversaries and competitors to achieve their strategic aims, purposefully trying to remain beneath the threshold of an armed attack, which I guess you'll be discussing in this first panel, how we determine what is a cyber incident and what is a cyber attack. When do we go from a cyber challenge to an actual cyber conflict? NATO allies face threats from both state and non-state actors who use hybrid activities to target political institutions, influence public opinion, and undermine the security of NATO citizens. These hybrid methods of warfare, such as propaganda, deception, sabotage, and other non-military tactics, have long been used to destabilize adversaries. What is new about the attacks seen in recent years is their speed, scale, and intensity, facilitated by rapid technological change and global interconnectivity. This complex and evolving environment makes it more important than ever that NATO and its allies are prepared to address hybrid threats. NATO has developed a strategy for countering hybrid warfare and has expanded the tools at its disposal to counter such threats. One useful tool we have available is the Counter Hybrid Support Team, a group of experts assembled from allied governments that assists allies on request to bolster their ability to prepare for and respond to hybrid activities. NATO deployed these teams first in Montenegro in November 2019 and to Lithuania in September 2021. So NATO is looking to the future, just as this conference aims to do today. I hope that your discussions will inspire you to think about these challenges in new ways. The U.S. mission to NATO is proud to sponsor this conference as part of a larger project to increase political will and technical capacity in NATO countries to identify and respond to emerging threats. I'd like to thank William and Mary and all the other partners for putting together this thoughtful and interactive program. And I look forward to hearing about the creative solutions that you come up with today. Thank you very much.